going. Well, a Treasure Coast father's back in court fighting to see his son.
But the child's biological mother has state law on her side. This is the first and last time a local father held his son. The boy is now 1 year old. Even though his son lives only blocks away, the father cannot see him.
The reason? The boy's mother was married to another man when the child was conceived.
America is in the red by about $113 billion in back child support. The presumption of deadbeat dads are surely buzzing your head by now, but these sky-high numbers many times stem from dads who simply cannot pay. Those who live in states that have rigid child support charts and do not forgive men who are not high-income earners or dads who have been incarcerated. Child support arrears quickly becomes crushing debt. The fewer days granted to the visiting parent, the more money that is due to the custodial parent, numbers which are filed into the federal system by way of the family court. This 1975 system was intended to hold men who did not want to be responsible for their children accountable, not the men who want to be an active parent in their child's life. Those men are simply swept into an outdated system that was meant to bridge the gap and keep women off of welfare and out of poverty. But in 1975, the gender landscape looked different. Today, there are more women graduating college than men. That number is quadruple what it was in the 1970s. Women account for almost exactly half of the workforce in the U.S. at 47%. And today, working moms are the societal norm. 75% of modern moms have full-time jobs. But yet, the rules and guidelines surrounding child support remain based on this severely outdated law.
And these aren't just numbers from the U.S. Census Bureau or Centers for Disease Control. These are real people with real stories that share one glaring common denominator. They're all men who have had their role of father diminished by the court. When I started working on my report, I received an outpouring of messages and letters from disenfranchised dads all across the country. For example, a story from Jared in North Carolina. He lost the custody battle to his ex-wife, later to have his child murdered by her new boyfriend.
All right, Manic Asylum back. Let's call it the prelude to chapter 2 of the butterfly effects of drug and alcohol addiction, mostly towards the family structure. That is our focus. Now, I recently did a video, a MGTOW video. If you don't know what MGTOW is men going their own way. This is a campaign of sorts. They like to call it a philosophy, where they don't allow women into their lives because of things like discrepancies in the family court systems, paying alimony and whatnot, and how they feel like they have been raped. I made a video, or a series of videos, trying to speak sense and say, hey, listen, this is a problem. This is a very big problem. This is an issue that we have. But I don't think the right way to go about it is taking an extreme position, which would basically be the reverse of extreme feminism. Extreme ideologies are a big issue that is really kind of plaguing our social climate right now. So I stick up for women, although I have had every reason to not want to because of my upcoming. But I will not stick up for the extremist feminists that are completely delusional and believe that women are this oppressed people that have got the short end of the stick. We had a lot of issues with sexism in the past.
Ask her to get my shirts whiter. What does she call this, whiter?
That's just like a man. How can I get his shirts as white as he wants? Unless I bleach the life out of them.
Darling, hurry and get ready for dinner. PTA meeting tonight.
Ellen, please. I just got home. Don't rush me.
Got to tell me what's wrong with the coffee.
Bad taste.
Now what am I going to do?
Those things have changed. America's not like that anymore. Hell, have you seen the Gillette commercial? Shitting all over men just for being men? There are, of course, terrible. Like, that's the problem. Like these ideas of toxic masculinity and things like that. You're looking at these douchebags that do terrible things that are fucking misogynistic and fucking pompous and pathetic, and you say, oh, well, that's toxic masculinity. No, these are douchebags, and they need to work on their fucking social skills. They're fucking morons. And I don't take away anything from anything any woman goes through. I'm sure I know there are plenty of misconduct upon women still going on in the workplace or whatnot, but it is nothing like it used to be. I say it all the time, stay away from extreme ideologies. We need to all work together, and the divisiveness is tangible, and it is toxic to us as a community, as a civilization, as a nation. A lot of people like to say women make less than men. Women make less than men in the workforce. These, like many other issues, don't take real statistics into account because of the types of jobs that men have, the type of things that men do that women prefer not to do. You know what I mean? I have been in job sites where I have seen women working construction and whatnot, but it is very few and very far between. There are not necessarily discrepancies among pay, it's the jobs that these people are doing. So you have to kind of understand how statistics work. Now, if anybody is curious about the differences, the reason why there are men's rights movements and MGTOW movements that they like to call philosophy or whatever, is because a lot of men are frustrated. And I've explained some of the things that I went through and I saw with my stepfather and my mother in this previous one that I will continue in this one. But I do want to clarify some things. To understand the statistics and the real discrepancies here, you have to understand that there's only 17% of custodial parents that are fathers. That leaves 82.6% custodial parents that are mothers. All right, men represent 97% of alimony payers. 97%. Men represent 87.1% of child support payers. There are 24 million children in America. 1 out of 3 live in a biological father absent homes. 35% of children whose parents are no longer living together have no contact with their non-custodial parent, which is usually the father. 2/3 of mothers think dads are replaceable either by another mom or another man. 93% and 91% of moms and dads respectively agree that a father absence crisis does exist. There are approximately 158,000 stay-at-home dads. That was back in 2009. I guarantee you it's only increased since then. You know, when there's no father in the home, and statistics have shown that children that have meaningful contact with two fit parents, both parents, they are much less likely to drop out of school, run away from home, become pregnant at a young age and have an abortion, to commit suicide, to seek out abusive relationships, to commit crimes, drugs and alcohol. They adjust better to separation than children with only one custodial parent. They are more likely to have successful relationships, and they're just more likely to have better mental health. Now, the fathers with visitation rights still pay 79% of child support. With visitation rights, 44% of fathers with no visitation rights still financially support their children. I mean, if we're talking about the real disparities between men and women and their claim to be discriminated against to get the short end of the stick, the statistics are pretty much proving you wrong. All right, men are 97% victims of combat fatalities. Men pay 97% of alimony, 94% of suicides, work suicides. They make up 93% of work fatalities, 81% of all war deaths. Men lose custody in divorce court, 84%. In 84% of divorce cases, men lose custody of their children, whether they are fit or not. 80% of all suicides are men. 77% of all homicide victims are men. 89% of men will be the victim of at least one violent crime. Men are over twice as victimized by strangers as women. Men get 63% longer sentences than women for the same crime. Court bias against men is at least 6 times bigger than a racial bias. Chew on that one for the race baiters. 60 to 80% of the homeless are men. Women cancers like breast cancer or whatnot receive 15 times more funding than men's like testicular cancer. There are no marches for that. At least 10% of fathers are victims of paternity fraud. 1/3 of fathers in the USA have lost custody of their children. Men, since, 1980 till now, have been declining in everything. Men feel beaten down. They are graduating school less, college less. They're committing more suicides. Now, I don't say any of this to undermine the struggles of a woman, but the extreme feminists and the people that look down upon men just because they are men are delusional, and they need to understand what real equality is. Because a lot of these people that are out here screaming equality, they only mean equality for themselves, not all, and it becomes sickening. Now this, we'll just call it the prelude to chapter 2. I'm working on chapter 2 right now. Hopefully I'll be able to finish it tonight. So if you didn't catch chapter 1 and you want to get caught up to where we are, check out chapter 1. I'll leave a link. If you don't know, this series that I started is basically telling the story of my life and how drugs and alcohol destroyed the family. Kind of trying to materialize it and make it more tangible. Hopefully to reach out and help somebody that might be dealing with it. It is an ugly thing to deal with when you're a young person. And I know there are definitely a lot of young people out there dealing with it. So I'm hoping that maybe I can, reach some younger people and let them know that, they're not the only ones going through it, and they can get through it just fine. So basically this series is surrounding that and telling my story. And we will be kicking off chapter 2. Thanks for watching.
And now we stand all alone, moonlight over a broken home. We're going nowhere fast and the world is so cold. I look around, nobody to hold me, nobody to hold me, no one to console me, no one to console me, not a shoulder to cry on, not a shoulder to cry on. And I'm broken inside, I just wanna know, is it my fault? Fist fighting in the schoolyard, graduate to folk nation with a Ruger. Move wrong, I pull a tool, now I'm super strength. This on the line, I gotta prove my rank. Now who's thinking about the future when your crew is banking? I'm 16, making about $1.80 a day. And that was change, but I thought I was taking them to the bank. I'm thinking Range Rover, L, Mercedes, and Scarface. And now I'm parlaying, moving up a long way from the top. But God willing, baby, I won't stop. I'm in the fast lane, M16 and 40 Glock. I'm thinking drop any one of you motherfuckers to talk. And I'm cocky, walking the party, I'm getting topped off. Any one of you wannabe thugs getting knocked off. And I'm locked and loaded, I'm waiting patiently for any one of these motherfuckers to try and pop off. And now we stand all alone, moonlight over a broken home. We're going nowhere fast and the world is so cold. I look around, nobody to hold me, nobody to hold me, no one to console me, no one to console me, not a shoulder to cry on, not a shoulder to cry on. And I'm broken inside, I just wanna know, is it my fault? I know I love my big brother, but I don't know what he's going through. Is he suffering? I really need him right now, cause I don't know my own mother. Her and dad are always fighting each other. I'm getting older now and I don't know if I can recover from all the fighting, all the yelling and screaming under the covers where I'm hiding from it all. But it never goes away, it never stops. Somebody tell him to stop. Is there something I could do? Was it something I did, something I said, something I could do better? I thought that maybe we can go and play today to tomorrow, cause at the park they got this place that you can play at the bars, and you can play and you can sway all day until the stars come up and you can see the moonlight in the dusk. And I can see us all there, mom, daddy, and brother, and we can play like them other families in the summer. And now we stand all alone, moonlight over a broken home. We're going nowhere fast and the world is so cold. I look around, nobody to hold me, nobody to hold me, no one to console me, no one to console me, not a shoulder to cry on, not a shoulder to cry on. And I'm broken inside, I just wanna know, is it my fault? All I wanted was a family, now it's falling apart, this ain't no fantasy. I ain't no perfect man, but goddamn, give me a chance. I fall down, help me stand. My baby girl is confused, now we all feel abused. We know ain't nobody perfect, gotta work through it, hurtful words can only worsen. I try to be a better man, but nobody to lean on and lead me to the dope man. Please, I'm on my knees talking to Jesus. I don't understand why I can't be what they need. I thought my love was enough, but I can't make it meet. Landlord say I got 3 weeks, and now I'm screaming at the stars at night. My whole life's falling apart. I'd rather say goodbye to this life. And now we stand all alone, moonlight over a broken home. We're going nowhere fast and the world is so cold. I look around, nobody to hold me, nobody to hold me, no one to console me, no one to console me, not a shoulder to cry on, not a shoulder to cry on. And I'm broken inside, I just wanna know, is it my fault?